1059 The Region, everywhere you are.
What's going on? You're listening to 1059 The Region at 3:15. I'm Shaliza Bacchus, and it is time now for our Summer Artist Spotlight Series. I'm joined in... Oh, there we go. Oh, I should probably turn your mic on. That might be helpful.
Thank you.
There we go. We can hear you now. We're joined in studio by Noah Zacharin. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Got here on time.
Good. We're happy to have you. I mean, hey, the traffic is not great right now. We'll say that.
Between was it Kiel and 427, I think you something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a few minor accidents here and there.
You know what? Why don't we just switch chairs?
Yeah,
Why don't you do the traffic for the rest of the afternoon?
I'm not interested
I'm here.
I like music. I don't like traffic.
All right. I guess we'll get back to the music then. And we're starting your long weekend off with some really great music. And you've been on the Canadian music scene for quite some time. I feel like, I mean, I'm not trying to age you or anything
It's
like
okay.
that.
It's true.
But I feel like you have experience to bring to the table that so many of these up-and-coming artists don't have. So what has it been like for you?
It's been wonderful. I've enjoyed nearly every moment of it.
Nearly.
It's all experimentation, and I'm always looking for something to happen. I love the interaction with people, and it's always a surprise and an adventure when I show up to a new venue or a new city, and I just go in there with the best of intentions.
Yeah, and as you should. I love that. And we were actually talking about this off the air a little bit. Just the experience as a musician has shifted so much. It's so different now, especially after the pandemic and things like that. And I feel like you've been through so much that other artists haven't. So do you feel like your experience differs now compared to, let's say, 10 years ago?
You mean like what I'm doing now as opposed to what I...
Yeah, a little bit. And just creating music, the process, the production.
No, I'm pretty stable in some ways. And, you know, I've added other skills to my arsenal. Through those pandemic years when there was no performance, I was learning how to record. So I've been collaborating with a lot of musicians. I made my new record. I got contributions from people all over the place. Some in studio, and some were sent to us. Okay. And I send tracks to people all over the world making records, and I enjoy that very, very much. But you know, we're back to performance and driving and going to new places. So pretty consistent. I don't think it's anything remotely what newer artists are doing in every genre, but there are people, you know, I encounter younger songwriters who are essentially doing the same thing. They have a van, they have a wife, they have a dog, and they park in the Walmart because it's a safe parking lot to sleep in, and they go from town to town. I don't tour as extensively as that, but you know, there are similarities.
Well, you've been playing a lot of gigs around Ontario, at least over the last little while. Yeah,
I've been busy, and it's been really nice. I come into Toronto, and I don't live in Toronto anymore. I've moved to an acreage just north of Madoc, Ontario, which is on Highway 7, about 45 minutes east of Peterborough. Okay. And it's you know, the community is more spread out. So we'll drive 45 minutes. I could drive 45 minutes, and I still wouldn't probably get to the 401 from here.
No.
But in 45 minutes, I'm in Belleville, you know, and there's the Prince Edward County is the wine district, so it's quite close, and everything's accessible, and travel times never change. Like I look at my Waze, and when I hear like it could double.
Waze out there.
Well, I like to know where I'm going, but I don't have to plan it as carefully. And here, like times can double depending on when you leave.
Exactly.
So I'm getting work in. I'm going tomorrow night. I'll be playing at a Bob Dylan tribute at a winery close to Belleville. Yeah, it's cool. It's just like I met this fella Randy, and he promotes shows in the greater neighborhood of Hastings County, and he calls me every now and again to do shows, and it's good, you know. And I go to the States.
That's fabulous.
Yeah. So I've been busy, and I'll continue to be. I like the the shark. Shark doesn't have active gills, so if a shark stops swimming, it stops breathing because it requires motion to get the air through the water through its gills to keep himself oxygenated. So if a shark stops swimming, it'll drown.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so I keep swimming. I don't want to drown yet.
Just keep swimming.
Yeah, keep swimming.
And we're going to have more with Noah coming up. But can you tell us a little bit about this song, Red, Red Bird, that we're about to play? Yeah,
it's a song that I wrote a number of years ago. There was a particular time in my life when I was really quite prolific. And my way of approaching the work would be to write a song. I would perform it once just there was some kind of solidification that would happen in a live setting, I would record it at home, and then I just move on to the next song. So some of the songs that I recorded, many of the songs I recorded through that period of time, I don't play anymore. Some of them I don't know how. And that was one of them that I abandoned, and then I was approached by Laura Fernandez to sing it and to translate it to Spanish.
Love that.
Yeah, so I had to go through the tapes. I relearned it, and essentially she revived it. She brought it back into the world.
Me and sir, I have a bone to pick with you because I feel like you buried the lead with this when I was saying, hey, maybe we should switch chairs. Maybe you should host the show. You've done some work in radio before.
A little bit. Yeah, I was at community radio at Ryerson for a number of years.
Well, look at that. Well, yeah. TMU. We have to call it Toronto Metropolitan University now.
Okay.
But I guess otherwise known as Ryerson.
I was on CKLN.
There you go.
We'll go with the call letters.
So, like I said, you buried the lead.
Yeah, thank you.
But
here on 105.9, The Region.
There we go.
Shaliza Bacchus.
Thank you. I like that. All right, you got to voice some commercials for us or something. We'll get to that.
Okay, we'll do it.
So let's go back to the music side of things. So tell us about this brand new album. It's officially being released next Friday.
Yes. It's a collection of songs that I perform frequently and for some reason or other never properly recorded. And I just wanted, people will come to me at the end of a show and say, well, I'd like to buy a record. Do you have something that has such and such? Mm-hmm. And I said, no, I haven't done it yet. And then, how about, I said, no, not.
Okay.
So I just gathered them all together and started working with a fellow that I met many years ago in Montreal. Or I'm from Montreal, and he was already quite well known. He left to be a professional musician and engineer, and we reconnected. And I started working with him on the record in late 2020, which was a bad time to be working. Studios were opening and closing, and I was out of practice. Everybody was out of practice. Yep. So I did a couple sessions, didn't like it, and went back about a year later, and just we crafted it together, and it was a labor of love and some wonderful musicians playing on it. And it was a great experience, and I'm very, very pleased.
And I definitely think it was probably a unique experience. You probably never had quite the experience like this, working through a pandemic and things like that, creating.
You're correct. I've never worked through a pandemic before, and that makes me unique in so few ways.
Debatable. You are unique in many, many ways,
but not in that way. Yeah. So it was stressful, and we had to wait about a year, and then I started having to get swabs and stuff to get into the studio, but we got through it, and it was really great working with Danny. Danny Greenspan helped me make the record, and he kept pushing me and prodding me to keep going. He's a let's get it done kind of guy, and I was just moping about. And so we worked together on it, and it was great.
Well, sometimes those are the type of people that you need working with.
Yeah,
you, right?
100%.
100%. And you've also got a album release concert coming.
I do.
In a few weeks in Toronto.
Yep.
How are you preparing for that?
I'm practicing my tunes.
That's it?
I have, I'm practicing my tunes and doing a little bit of promo for it, I'll send lists to I got musicians playing with me. Some of the folks who are on the record, Russ and Gary, who are playing bass and drums, and Burke Carroll's going to be there with his pedal steel and his dobro, and I'll just essentially play the tunes from the record with a couple of. It's Amy Winehouse's birthday that day.
Look at that.
So I'm going to cover one of her tunes.
Ooh.
And Back to Black, probably.
Back to Black.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, and I might do a couple of. We're at the Dakota on Ossington, so it's a wonderful, venerable old country bar. So I'm gonna do probably a Hank Williams tune and maybe Tennessee Waltz, just to be in character at the venue. But we'll do the record. It should be a fairly short show. We're the early show, and then they have, I think, a DJ or someone else coming on afterwards. Okay. So we're around 7 o'clock.
Love that. All right, we will post details for that on our Twitter page at 1059 The Region. And what's next for you? Are you touring around a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm going to go home tonight. I have a show tomorrow. I have a show in Toronto, possibly on the 9th. I'm doing something in Montreal on the 11th. And then maybe something on the 13th in Toronto, and then my release on the 14th. And then playing guitar for a friend who's an artist, beautiful artist. He has a gallery opening on the 15th in Toronto. He's making guitars. They're very beautiful guitars. So I'm going to be sitting in the corner with dark glasses on, just playing the blues. And I've got some stuff coming in the States in December. I'm going to Detroit and Chicago, possibly Ohio, and I'm booked into May. There's lots of dates open, but I like to know that that's the reason for continuing to swim.
Love that. See, that I need a tattoo of that. I need that on a t-shirt or something. Just keep swimming. Just like the sharks do, right?
Yeah.
Noah Zacharin, thank you so much for joining us.
Shaliza.
Now, stay tuned to our TikTok page at 1059 The Region. We're going to have a live streamed performance from Noah right here in our lobby, so stay tuned. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Well, I mean, you've got some experience in radio, right? So maybe you should introduce yourself. But hello, everyone. Welcome to Noah's TikTok debut. Our first live, actually. So thank you for tuning in. We're live here at 1059 The Region. We are celebrating our Summer Artist Spotlight Series. We're headed into the long weekend with Noah Zacharin, who just joined me live on the air. And literally, you can take the job anytime. If you'd like to report traffic.
It's heavy. It's always heavy.
It's too heavy. All right, we're going to lighten things up then. We're going to have a live performance from Noah. Can you tell us a little bit about the song you're going to play?
Sure, this song is called Lester Brown, and as I like to introduce it, it's the song I made up about a guy I made up, who I imagine lives in New Orleans.
So like your imaginary friend.
Yes.
I like that. Love that. Noah Zacharin, everybody.
Now bowler and a tie, silk and satin guy, fine Italian shoes, it's Lester Brown. You hear the ladies sigh, you know the reason why. Word is out, Lester's back in town. And when he walks by, twirls a stick and winks an eye. The ladies blush like springtime on the rose. Steaming apple pie, evening drawing. I won't be long before the sunset hour glows. There's a sweet magnolia breeze and there's catbirds up in the trees. A little sugar with your lemonade. You can curtsy if you please. Hear the chord and melody. Lester's back on the Basin Street Parade. And when he walks past, it happens all so fast. He lights them up like match to gasoline. And the satin sun's outclassed. And how that Lester lasts dusk to dawn, it shines on New Orleans song.
Noah Zacharin, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Happy long weekend.